Okay. So in June 2022, I went away out and I went to some primary schools in Glasgow. I'm not going to tell you which ones I went to keep it quite anonymous. And I visited quite a few schools and I had a chat with staff, and that was all staff. So that was teaching staff, Jannies, cleaners, support for learning workers. I spoke to dinner ladies if they would come and talk to me. I spoke to some parents within the school. I had a parent questionnaire as well. I managed to speak to some parents one-to-one, and I spoke to some pupils as well. So we spoke to pupils from, you know, P1 up to P7. We did try some nursery pupils, but it was absolutely hopeless. They were too busy talking about their shoes and the chairs they were sitting on or whatever else. So we just didn't really get anywhere with them. And what we did was we asked them these questions that you can see on these in these two little boxes here. The questions were sent out to the schools before we went out, so it wasn't as if I was springing it on them, or there wasn't like they had time to think about their answers before they came and spoke to me. And what I was hoping to gather was a kind of snapshot of what the thoughts are on racism in schools, what's happening with regards to racism in schools, how much racism do we see in the schools, and then what's happening to combat that. What solutions are we coming up with? What anti-racist practices are they're taking place within our schools? So as you can see, it's not really been anything like too tricky, but it was just trying to dig a little bit deeper to try and understand what was happening within the schools. And as we go on throughout this presentation, you're going to see some of the feedback, some of the things that were said within the schools. I also should say that when I'm out delivering training now, the staff questionnaire I put on at the end of my training session. So I've got a lot of up-to-date information. So that's constantly getting updated via an electronic a form, an electronic survey. So I keep updating the information from that. So although some of this took place in June 2022, we're trying to update information all the time. Okay.
Christine.
Okay. So the suggestions moving forward from the staff, and if you actually look at both of these, the staff and the pupil suggestions kind of tie in. So it's about raising awareness about different cultures, staff training. So the staff do want to be trained, they want to know more about how to deal with anti-racist incidents. And I know that that's something that the council is moving forward with at the moment, is to try and train staff even further about racism and anti-racism. More awareness raising about racism, highlighting good practice, so that learning from other establishments, learning from peers and things to see how it's working, trying to bring the communities together, just what you've been talking about there, ensuring the parent council is more diverse staff, and then the implementation of the 1+2 languages, so that there's more community languages within the school. And the pupil suggestions, so yes, some of them did say zero tolerance for racist bullying, so if nothing is done, then they'll just keep doing it. But they also want to talk to those who have done something racist and let them learn more about other cultures, which I thought was a really mature attitude to come from the students as well. They all enjoyed being able to be part of like an equalities committee, because it allowed for their voices to be heard. Making sure that the school values incorporate racism, and that it'll know that like through the school values that racism won't be accepted. And then more lessons about different cultures and races. Someone's just asked about what was that question there about community languages being taught. So there is a policy within Glasgow about 1+2 languages, and you know what I mean. It doesn't have to be that they're fully taught, within Arabic or Urdu, Punjabi or Mandarin or whatever, but it could be something that's used more within the school. So I know as an EL teacher, we promote things like Language of the Month or Language of the Block. So it's something that could be used as part of the 1+2 languages initiative. There could be a focus on a particular language. If there's a really prevalent language within the school, then there could be a little bit of teaching and learning within each of the classes to use more of that language. We encourage our EL learners to be able to use their home language within their classrooms when they can. And so I don't think there would be anything wrong with trying to encourage the other learners to speak a wee bit of the home language of some of the other kids in the class. And so it is policy that although they'll be speaking English, they're maybe learning, one of their modern languages such as French or Spanish or German or Italian or whatever, that they might also explore some of the community languages within the school. And it's not that there's an exam or whatever on that, but it's just something that the school could choose to explore as well. And I think it would be really positive for a lot of our EAL learners.